Good morning, everybody, or maybe good afternoon, depending on where you are in this world. My name is Julia Floreak, and thank you so much for joining me on the next frontiers of the BetterCloud platform. I hope that you've been enjoying this conference as much as I am. It's really my favorite event of the year, and I'm so happy to spend the next few minutes virtually meeting you to talk you through the next frontier. So here we go. First and foremost, my name is Julia Floreak, and I'm a Senior Product Manager with BetterCloud. Over the past year, I've been focused on BetterCloud's platform strategy. To me, what that means is every moment and interaction that you have in our platform, right after the moment that you log in, you're interacting with our platform, whether that's through the front end use cases that you're setting up in workflows or the back end interactions that we're taking to make that happen for you. That's what I have been focused and working on with the teams that I serve. And the agenda that I have for us today is one to talk about the focus that we had for this year. I'll walk you through 2020 because we have a lot of great highlights. Who couldn't use a great highlight this year in particular? Next, I'm going to walk us through a really exciting product announcement. So please stay tuned. I think you're going to like what you have to hear. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about the future and what the strategic direction beyond 2020 could look like for the BetterCloud platform. So let's kick it off with this year. At the start of 2020, BetterCloud was getting together and having in-person kickoffs both as a company and for our engineering organization. We were talking strategy in these big forums. We were together and doing group syncs. We were meeting in conference rooms to start troubleshooting different use cases together. We were having general meetings too, just for fun, maybe over a piece of pie, but either way, we were all meeting in person. And that was a large focus for our IT team as well, was to make these events and all of these interactions that we were having face-to-face go off without a hitch. But then the roadmap changed. As you'll see, all of the plans that we thought that we were going to have this year all went in a different direction. New cancellations were coming in left and right in all different ways, in all different forms, and we basically had to pivot, not only as a organization, but in our personal lives as well, because our current reality is that our offices are sitting empty, and the need for us to be thinking about how we collaborate in person has really gone away. As the only coworker that I personally see face-to-face every single day is my little dog, Winston. And I think that everybody's in a really similar boat right now, trying to figure out how we pivot into this new landscape, whether that's with reduced capacity in the office or simply re-strategizing what it means to be successful in the way that we work. And we at BetterCloud thought about that through the lens of how to manage a remote workforce. That was a big focus for us this year. So we started breaking down a lot of different processes. And I'll start off with a quick story. We had many of our customers coming to us going through a really hard time. Some of our customers had experienced different processes that they may have never seen before, such as the furlough process. Unfortunately, the reality that we were in is that there was so much uncertainty in the world that we were living in that we needed to take a few pauses, and the furloughing process was one way that that happened. But we knew at BetterCloud that this was a temporary process, one that you might need to do once and hopefully never again. With that, there's really two routes. The first route is you could end up bringing these employees back into your organization, and with that, we thought about what it would take as an IT professional to properly rehire all of the employees that maybe you had to furlough. The second was that potential scenario where you no longer could keep these employees employed. And so we came up with new ways to help IT organizations respond to these hard times by doing things such as automating those offboarding processes specific to a furlough as the start. The next thing that we heard was it was very difficult to manage the guests that are leveraging all of your different systems. In the past, it might be easy to see a stranger walking around your office and wonder, should that person still be here? Or it was much easier to even just keep tabs on the different managers and all of the different resource managers that may have somebody that's helping them out on a one-off basis. We know that there can be a somewhat time-bound activity and one that also has an end date. So we thought about different ways that we could go ahead and help you manage those guest users in your environment. We also thought that managing super admins might be more important than ever. With the remote workforce, it would be much easier to allow other people to start administrating their own areas. That might require giving people like hiring managers or top-level executives, executive assistants, some increased privileges around the systems that they're accessing and all of the SaaS apps that they're able to administer. So with that, we thought about how we could help you keep an eye on whenever too many of your employees may have access to systems that they shouldn't be, and helping you automatically keep that in check. Last but not least, some activities became a lower priority this year, such as managing empty channels. That may have been slotted on your roadmap, that one that we showed earlier, and that time slot had to go away to new activities. So we thought about different ways that we could automate these lower priority tasks for you, so that way you're not spending your days going through and having to manage that. And that's something such as archiving empty public channels on an automated basis within your different chat systems. And we did that through a new workflows template experience that we launched earlier this year. This experience allows you to come into BetterCloud and learn about all of our best practices right out of the box and get those implemented in really quick implementation cycles. These are related to our workflows, and we want to help you know all of the possibilities of automation through BetterCloud and the best way to get that stood up. Take, for example, offboarding. Most of our customers are leveraging offboarding workflows using BetterCloud. With that, we've seen as many as 85% of our customers having this actively running and taking care of offboarding employees on a day-to-day basis. And we believe that's for a few reasons. The first one being because we have such complex actions. The action we create, we want them to be use case oriented. They have multiple API calls many times behind the scenes to accomplish one task for you. An example of this could be something such as transferring the ownership of a user's file from one user to another user, maybe their manager, that is easy to configure with just a few clicks, but it's quite the complex process behind the scenes. Next, we do this just in time. So we add things such as wait for durations into our workflows to make sure that they only kick off whenever the time is right. Take, for example, maybe wanting to keep some of your user accounts in a suspended state before fully offboarding them. With using just-in-time features such as a wait for duration, we're able to wait until you're ready to actually delete the account of the user, so that way you never do it too early and that you can retain all of that data in the time that you need. Last, we do this at scale. We want to connect to all of the SaaS applications of the world, whether those are native applications out of the box that are easy for you to set up and configure, get up and running, maybe starting off with a workflow template, or whether that's through extensibility with features that are currently available, such as custom actions in BetterCloud, or things in the future, such as extensibility in when we trigger workflows with upcoming features, such as a custom triggers experience to allow you to have those our BetterCloud platform connect to any application with APIs to kick off your workflows. But we've also heard your feedback, and keep it coming. We have so many votes in our system that our users want more. They want more around or if conditions and workflows, and making sure that that pattern allows you to actually narrow in on exactly the different conditions in which you want your automations to run. Yes, please give me more granularity around the conditions for my workflows. And with that, I'm excited to announce available today, we have OR conditions available in workflows. All BetterCloud customers on your next login will find that you'll be routed to a new experience within our new workflows area of the applications that's going to highlight OR conditions in workflows. And with that, I'll transition into a quick demo to show you exactly what that new functionality will look like. So welcome into BetterCloud. Now, once you get into the landing page, I encourage you to come over to the Workflows tab and click on New. Whenever you now launch a workflow, you'll see that the experience looks exactly the same, but I'm going to run you through a use case that'll make this look a little different. So let's start with a template. In our templates experience, we have over 32 templates available to highlight and get implemented on your best practices. But what we're going to do today is start you through running an add to projects use case, where you want to add new users into a project whenever they first start. You're helping out your engineering organization today, and you know that all of the engineers are segmented into different groups. Within those groups of engineers, they have access to different GitHub projects where they can collaborate with one another on their daily work. So what we're going to do is we only want this add to projects template to apply to GitHub. We're going to remove Asana and we're going to remove Box. But this template will take in any of your connected applications that you have integrated into BetterCloud. So with that, you saw that all of the different ways that we can do this. We're going to click Next and now select our trigger. We think that we would like to add in our trigger once we get into the actual experience, so we're going to skip this step. Now we're going to build out that workflow. So we're going to review it and we're going to add in the triggers in which we want this to be accomplished. So first, we're going to have when a new user is added into a group, add a user to group. Now we're going to click on if, and this is where you should pay attention for that new functionality. So if the group is, we're going to say the Aqua team, which is one of the teams in which we want to access this new project in GitHub. So now you can see that this workflow would trigger when a new user is added to a group in Okta. If their group is the Aqua team, we're going to add them to this project, which is great. This is how we keep track of all of the new engineers on this team. But we also have multiple teams working within this project. That's the platform team. That's the team I'm working on, and the same team that built out this user experience for you. So we're going to click this new OR button. Once we click OR, now you see that we can continue to add conditions into this experience. So I'm going to click on that group again, and we're going to say this time the group is the Sapphire team, which is the other team that helped build out this experience for you. So now we've added even more people within your organization upon their onboarding that can be added into the same project. But we had one more team working on this, so we can't leave out the Galileo team. And you can see we have 3 conditions, and we can continue adding these to make this even more flexible. But in the past, we've always had this AND operator available, and we don't want to stop there. We also know that our product managers, such as myself, are added into this group upon hire. So we want to exclude people like me from having GitHub access, as it's not something that I would need. But we don't actually know within this group who doesn't need access versus who does not. So we're going to base that off of the title. And I want to look for the user's title based off of, let's see here, in Office 365. So we also want to now narrow this down to say if their title is not Product Manager, to add this to the group. So now this policy reads, when a new user is added to a group, we will add them if they join any one of these 3 groups, but we need to also use this AND operator for this new segment and make sure that their title is not Product Manager, because now we're going to exclude me from receiving access to GitHub. And I wanted to also show you how ORs can be added into multiple segments. So if I click on this again, now I also know that we have a few guests that we have allowed into these different groups. Maybe we're using a contractor. So I am going to also exclude any guest users. So I'm going to look to say is not a guest, or you could say is a member, but we'll stick with it here. So we're going to make sure that these 2 conditions also do not apply. So now we would be excluding all product managers and all guests from also being added into this GitHub project. We're really excited to continue adding in more to this experience. And if you stick with me here, I'm going to move back into the presentation and talk about future plans in this area. So now I would love to talk to you a little bit more about our future plans to continue developing out the platform. We are not done yet. So the first thing that I wanted to highlight is that we're here for you. We are here to serve the IT community in all of your SaaS ops use cases. We want to focus in on developing out the platform to meet the needs that are the most critical for you. And the ways that we want to do that are first to empower you to be the SaaS experts. 2, to connect you to the SaaS Ops community. I'm so happy that you heard about a lot of our future plans around new community experiences, but we also know that we want to extend the BetterCloud platform to easily, seamlessly integrate into this, and not only that, allow you to collaborate in different ways that you're leveraging BetterCloud to solve your SaaS Ops problems. And then last, we need to surface your important SaaS data to you. We know this is critical, and you'll hear more about it here soon. So let's kick it off. Empower you to be SaaS experts. No longer should you be out maintaining custom scripts, becoming deeply integrated into all of the controls across all of your SaaS applications, or learning how to manage and secure your users across every admin console and every application. These admin consoles are prone to change quite often. They're adding in new things, they're taking them away, they're changing the user experience, and the upkeep on that is high. We don't want you to get bogged down in these details. We want to take care of that for you at BetterCloud, so that way you as an IT SaaS Ops professional can stay focused on the strategy of your IT organization. Not only that, let's move back into the custom scripts. Custom scripts become stale over time and can become super hard to maintain. We know that because we do a lot of that hard work for you behind the scenes. And with that, I want to show you the different ways that we're thinking about making this easier on you. So first is flexible targeting. I think one of the biggest things and value adds that you would find in our BetterCloud Workflows product is our dynamic field selector. While it's such a simple feature of BetterCloud, it's so powerful because we're storing all of that state for you. No longer should you have to do VLOOKUPs, concatenation, all of these really cumbersome ways of setting automations and targeting just the right fields. We do all of that relationship mapping behind the scenes and want to expose to you every single field available across your SaaS stack so that way you can set up more complex automations. The first use case that comes to mind is thinking about how you can start to recognize fields across applications and use these deep actions that I talked about earlier, so that you could go off and have a user's information in your IDP maybe or somewhere else, and then use that information to now take action in other applications, such as moving files from one user to another, and somewhere like Box and Dropbox, without having to keep clean attributes across your SaaS stack, because we know that's error prone. We want to go directly to the source of truth for you. Next is more conditions. Now that we have all of this great flexibility using OR conditions and workflows, we want to continue to give you more and more conditions to allow you to complete your use cases. This is an example of what an integration could look like in a future integration that we have upcoming. We also have plans to double back on all of the integrations that we have and ensure that we have all of the right attributes for you in your conditioning engine, so that way you can solve your SaaS Ops problems using BetterCloud. Next, in the same visual, you'll see more operators. These operators will allow you to have more flexibility in the attributes that we recognize. This will also help with making sure that your automations are flexible enough for you, but also making sure that you don't have to be too overwhelmed by how clean your attributes are with things like contains and does not contain. Next, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about how we want to connect you to the SaaS Ops community. And again, going back to the why, we love collaborating with you directly, but we know that you want to collaborate with each other too. And with that, we want you to be able to share your workflows and discover how others are solving SaaS Ops use cases using BetterCloud. You all have got so many creative things in workflows. You've created so many different automations to help solve so many problems, integrating systems together, solving new processes in new ways. So much creativity that I've seen, and I know that everybody in BetterCloud has seen, but we want you to make this more available for each other to help each other and learn about all of the possibilities. So with that, in the future, maybe first you could come in and create your workflow, but then you might have the option to share your workflow. After you were to share your workflow, you could send that off into the community and talk with each other about the different ways that you're automating use cases. Or you may even just want to keep this for yourself, because also experts can be within your own organizations. And maybe you want to collaborate cross-functionally with each other about the different ways that you're leveraging BetterCloud. So in the future, you may be able to review your workflow, but you would start off by doing that here by clicking Share in our Workflow Builder. After you were to do that, you could generate a link, and then you have a few options. You could generate this link and copy it to the clipboard and maybe save it internally, share it with your HR team, or share it with another team in your organization who could be interested in the different things that you're building out within BetterCloud. Whenever you do that, you'll see here that you could actually maybe even create your account along the way if you didn't have one yet, or you could go in and create one in the community and just share off a message that looks like this. And in the end, you could earn some badges and points to continue building out your expertise in BetterCloud. But next, this is the really great thing that I think will be so different, is that you could come in and actually use this workflow. We don't want you to just share them. We want you to be able to copy that right into your instance of BetterCloud and start to use the automation that you felt like matched your use case. We'll even help give some guidance about how to integrate different integrations that maybe you're not leveraging today if they're included into that workflow. Okay, and now last but not least, surfacing your important SaaS data. Because giving you SaaS data and extending our patented data graph, you'll be able to have stronger reporting capabilities out of BetterCloud. We've heard your feedback that reporting is a really, really important part of your workflow and what makes you SaaS Ops experts. This will allow you to connect critical insights across your SaaS stack and give you stronger auditing ability for your managed and secure use cases, knowing that part of what makes BetterCloud the best is that we not only give you reports, but will allow you to take action and actually do something with that report. And now I'll also show you this visual about how we've done this before. I presented this exact slide to you last year at Altitude in San Francisco. I talked about at the time how SaaS is becoming so complex. What's a GitHub repository? I don't even know, but what we can enable you to do is learn more about how you can leverage this in BetterCloud and connect all of these different applications together for these reports that we're talking about. Because not only is having this data available important, but in order to solve your actual use cases, we know that data correlation is something that's cumbersome, difficult, and takes some expertise. And again, we want to be those experts for you. And that could look something as simple as this: being able to have a built-out security assessment right in your environment, ready to go, so you could export all of that data, visualize it in either your visualization system or something that we have in BetterCloud, and so that way you can make use of that, share that within your organization, and make a decision as to whether you need to take action. And if you need to take that action, you'll be able to do it in BetterCloud. And we're going to continue doing this all at scale for you. We want to always be here for you and scale with all of the applications that you're integrating. We know that this market shift and everything that's happened in 2020 has brought even more people to the cloud. The data is there to back that up. But what we do know is that you were there first. You are SaaS Ops professionals, and we're here to scale with you. So we're going to make this a huge focus of BetterCloud and having all of our use cases always available for you. And as you can see, this is a little bit of where we've come from. We've already been invested in this area, continuing to integrate with all of the applications that we know are important to you, and we're not stopping here. We're just at the beginning. So I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for attending. I hope that you were able to take a lot away, and I continue to ask you to continue chatting in that chat box. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. And I really appreciate your time today. Cannot wait to continue speaking with you as we continue on this SaaS Ops journey together. Thank you.